Hi, welcome to the National Critics' Choice Online News, and today we have Benanti Winery from Italy, who's going to share with us more about their passion and also how it came about. Mr. Antonio Benanti,
Yes.
welcome to our show. Please tell us more about your family business, how it came about, and what's the meaning behind Benanti.
Okay, well, thank you very much for this interview. I'm very glad to be here. Benanti is actually our last name. It's our family name, and it's a family name that is originally from northern Italy, but a branch of the family moved to Sicily several years ago, in 1734. And that's when the Benanti family moved to Sicily. So our winery is from Sicily. Specifically, it is from the Mount Etna in Sicily. Mount Etna is the largest active volcano in Europe. So it's a very unique place to grow vines and to produce wine. My father is passionate about wines. The family has had the passion now for about 4 generations. And it was 25 years ago, in 1988, when my father converted this passion into a proper winery. Wine production on Etna dates back centuries. It's the oldest wine production area in Sicily. But quality and professional winemaking only dates back to about 25 years ago. We are among the pioneers of quality winemaking on Etna.
Now, moving forward, what's the present wine tasting notes for Benanti? You know, and especially the year 2011, 2012. Are there any releases?
We have a offer of a number of wines. The common feature of all the wines is the finesse and the elegance and the minerality of these wines that is provided by the terroir in which these wines, where the vineyards are located. Etna is very different compared to the rest of Sicily, and we tend to always emphasize this difference. Etna is in Sicily, but it's like an island within the island. You have a volcanic soil and you have high altitudes, even up to 1,000 meters. So this has an influence on the wines that are very unlike other southern Italian wines. So you will find in our latest releases, as well as in our portfolio in general, the finesse, the minerality and the sapidity of these wines. These are the common features of both red and white. And the longevity of both the white variety Carricante and the red varieties Nerello Cappuccio and Nerello Mascalese, again, is very unique. So it's not uncommon to drink these wines after a very, very long time. So they evolve very well throughout the years. We never release young wines. They are at least 2 years after the harvest, but then you can keep them and they will improve after a very, very long time.
And how long is the long time that you express?
Well, because we have now, the winery has been existing now for 25 years, so we have a track record, we have an experience now of about 24 harvests. And we have lately opened a 1999 Pietra Marina, which is our top-end white Carricante, and there was an audience of 40 people, including journalists, and 1999, a 14-year-old white was the favored one. So we can safely assume and confidently state that 15 years at least is definitely safe for our whites, and even more for the reds. We have some mid-90s reds that we still open for our tastings, or for some vertical tastings. So again, 20 years for the reds and up to 15 years for the whites is definitely already been proven as a fact.
Speaking about maturity, how can our audiences, for first-timers who's going to explore your winery, especially if they come to Italy, what will be, well, the 1 or 2 wines they should try or recommend?
I can definitely think of 2 of our top wines. For the white one, Carricante, there is a label called Pietra Marina. Pietra Marina is the white wine that has brought the awards to Etna winemaking. So the currently we have released the 2009 vintage, which was given today the award of Tre Bicchieri by Gambero Rosso, which is a very important Italian authority. And for the reds, our most representative label is Serra della Contessa, because it comes from a vineyard in the southeast slope of Etna that is actually grown on a slope of an extinct crater. And part of the vineyard is over 100 years old, because it's a pre-phylloxera vineyard. So Serra della Contessa and Pietra Marina are the two wines that mostly represent Benanti.
What's the philosophy of Benanti's making good wine? They are making good wine.
I'll tell you, it's very easy. When my father started, when he converted the passion into a winery, he found no benchmarks in the area, because again, Etna wine production is very old. It's the oldest area for wine production in Sicily, but quality winemaking is fairly recent. So he actually asked for the consulting of professors of enology from Piemonte and Bourgogne in France, because he wanted to set a new standard, a new excellent standard on Etna. Our wines on Etna are regarded as very traditional wines. They're slow wines. We never release them young. Even the entry-level wines are at least 2 years old. So slow wines are definitely a feature of ours. And we believe in the persistency of the wine, and we believe in truly reflecting the intrinsic features of the varieties. We do not alter the varieties in any way. So we are a true expression of Etna. Our wines are not necessarily those that you immediately pick off a shelf. It's a boutique winery of 110,000 bottles. So it's for the discerning and very competent wine enthusiast. So it's not a wine for the mass. It's a wine for the hotels, restaurants, and wine shops. You don't find it in other channels. So high standard, boutique, persistent, highly recognizable Etna wines.
Now, moving forward, our viewers would like to know, Mr. Antonio Benanti, what drives you to carry on the name of your family in this wine business? Why the passion of wine for your family?
I have been doing other jobs as well in the past. I had the opportunity to travel to other countries. I have actually spent 15 years outside Sicily, in England, in Switzerland, in France, Spain, Mexico. At some stage I was drawn back to my homeland because of two things: the passion for the winemaking and the pride of exporting our territory to the world. So it is also shall we say, an industry which is populated by people who are passionate. Journalists are passionate, wine producers are passionate, consumers are passionate, importers, restaurant owners. So it's very rewarding socially. So it's not just a job, it's a way of life. And I think it's the best job that one could do. We don't see it as a job, it's a way of life.
And speaking as a Sicilian, the way of life, my viewers like to know, Mr. Benanti, would there be a production you will be producing your wine, your own favorite wine named after you? Would there be a possibility?
You mean to have a new release?
Yes,
a new label.
Yeah, a new label that's named after you. Is that a possibility?
I have a twin brother, Salvino, who also works with me and my father in the winery. So it would be unfair to have one label just named after me. So we will probably think of a new label in the future. They will be named after myself and my brother, because we're very close. So yes, it's not unlikely. We only work with 3 varieties: Carricante, Nerello Mascalese, and Cappuccio. So there is only so much creativity that you can, new creativity that you can add. So it's not currently on the agenda, but it's not unlikely. If we do release a wine after, named after myself and my brother, we will make sure that you will know it immediately, and Singapore will be immediately one of the main markets for it.
Now, folks, please do take note. You can actually get your wines at the Hilton, Singapore. And also, Mr. Benanti, please tell us where can our viewers visit your website, as well as is there a distributor here in Singapore and elsewhere?
We have started a collaboration with an importer called Angra Wine and Spirits. They are also importing other important boutique wineries from Italy. We also have a website called vinicolabenanti.it. We have a Facebook page, Benanti Winery, or you can visit us on Etna in an area called Via Grande. We have a very established incoming activity, and we receive wine lovers every day, mostly in the warmer months, but you can come every day. We'll be very happy to have you there.
Now, my viewers would like to ask you this one last question. That is, Mr. Benanti, would you recommend one restaurant in Italy, especially Sicily, where your town is? You know, a restaurant that they can go to pair with your wines.
In our area, there is a very famous touristic location, high-end touristic location called Taormina, which is in the Catanian Etna area. There is one restaurant there called La Capinera. They have 1 Michelin star, and the chef Piero D'Agostino is really a big fan of our wines. But I can also recommend a small upcoming new restaurant called Osteria Rosso di Vino. It's run by 2 girls from Taormina. They are very fond of what they're doing. And so if you go to Taormina, you should try these 2 places. There are many others like Turisi Ligato, Osteria Nero d'Avola, and a few good places. So these 3 are those that I would recommend.
Well, once again, thank you, Mr. Benanti, for joining us here at the National Critics' Choice. And folks, thank you for joining me. I'm Robin Stienberg. Have a good week ahead, and have a wonderful Christmas and a New Year here in Southeast Asia and even in New York. Goodbye.
Thank you.